Can we just stop there? Like Gary said, my name is Gary Drayton. I'm from Pompano Beach, Florida, by way of jolly old England. Or as they say around this place, the British are coming, the British are coming. I live in South Florida, and I divide my time equally between searching for Spanish treasure on the Treasure Coast of Florida and water hunting on the beaches, the tourist beaches, from West Palm Beach down to Miami. Maybe you've seen some of my finds on the internet, in magazines and books, and there's a reason. Not some of the stuff you hear on the metal detecting forums, you know, contrary to that type of thing. I do not own a jewellery store. I haven't got any family members who's got a pawn shop, and I am not from the planet Krypton. Well, maybe that last one, maybe. I rely on my basic metal detecting techniques and beach reading skills to find treasure and modern jewellery on a consistent basis. And the reason why I find on a consistent basis is I'm really mechanical and methodical on my techniques, the building blocks. When you start off to the beach, I go to the beach to like micromanage. I do a small area. I don't say, oh, I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go there. I pick an area. Obviously I know some good areas, but there's gold on every beach. I know it's simplifying it, but you really you've got to put your search coil over it. And the way you do that is covering it around some of the sexy stuff. You know, how does he do it? How does he find all this stuff? And the one thing I'm going to talk about, I like to refer it as box hunting. A lot of people are box hunting and they don't realise they're doing it. I know it's a cliched expression, thinking outside the box. Well, that's the main thing on the forums and stuff. People say, yeah, I went from the parking lot to the pier and I didn't find anything. Some guys get adventurous. They go 10 yards past the pier. What do they do? You have to go further. I found so many great finds just outside the usual turnaround points. Like if there's a row of beds, some beds, or if there's an hotel, most guys hunt from the edge of the chairs to the other edge, and then they move on to the next area. So if you guys start going just that little bit further, your finds will increase. Point of this little story. This guy's a box hunter, he's only a water hunter. If you're only a water hunter, a dry sander or a wet sander, you're box hunting. The beach is a big place, and you have to be the master of all three areas. The water, the wet sand and the dry sand. Some of my greatest finds have come out the dry sand, the wet sand and the water. And it's funny because you see it now on the forums, everyone going, oh, it's all in the water. No, it isn't. The person telling you they're a water hunter. You know, it isn't. It's all over. So don't box hunt with your area. I told you I search for Spanish treasure. So I started researching the wreck sites. There's 9 galleons that sank in 1715 along the Treasure Coast. And I could never understand when I went detecting how there was 20 guys on one beach and there was no one on a beach a quarter of a mile south or north. I just didn't get it. And then I started researching the wreck some more, because I used to go to the beaches where there wasn't anybody and I was finding Spanish silver. And I deduced that, you know, the galleons were so big when they broke apart, they would scatter jewellery and coins for miles down the beach. So I went looking for the scatter. Talking about thinking outside the box. Now this story says it all. If you go to the same place every week at the same time, you're going to get the same results. You have to think outside the box and go to some different beaches. Don't be afraid to wipe out.